cheap container from China to the UK. Container shipping rates from China to the UK can vary greatly. When it comes to pricing, the sizes of the containers are also important. Assume you want to know how much a container from China to the UK costs. The cost of a container from China to the UK is determined by market conditions, usage, and grade. The cost of shipping a container from China to the UK can fluctuate due to changes in container rates. As a result, the cost of shipping a container from China to the UK will never be the same. If you ship during the off-season, you can save significantly on the cost of a container from China to the UK. IZ Global Logistics, a freight forwarder based in China, has a vast global operational network that enables it to offer the most dependable export and import logistics services. Contents container rates from China to the UK. What are the shipping routes from China to the UK? Why are container shipping rates from China to the UK so volatile? Is the cost of shipping cheap container from China to the UK always the same? What documents are required to ship your products via cheap container from China to the UK? Bill of lading. Invoice for commercial services. Origin certificate. Container rates from China to the UK. A 20-feet container shipping cost from China to the UK can range between $550 US and $900 US on average. If you are doing FCL shipping, you must pay the entire amount. Shipping a 40-feet container from China to the UK can cost between $1,000 and $1,500 USD. The price is not fixed because it can change every month. If the cost of shipping a 40-feet container from China to the UK is $1,200 USD 1 month, it may be around $1,400 USD the next. Certainly, these price differences are affected by a variety of factors. They are similar to your shipping routes, ports, container size, supplies, and demand for different seasons. However, the charges for the LCL shipping method may differ. LCL shipping costs can range from $600 US to $650 US per CBM for a 20-feet or 40-feet container shipped from China to the UK. What are the shipping routes from China to the UK? There are several major routes for shipping containers from China to the UK. You can ship via a traditional maritime route, keeping your container cost from China to the UK the same. The South China Sea, the Malacca Strait, and the Suez Canal are all traversed by this route. This route takes about 30 to 40 days, and the cost of a cheap container from China to the UK remains the same. Another new route, the North Sea route, connects China and the UK by sea. Shipping containers from China to the UK takes a little longer on this route. As a result, the cost of shipping a cheap container from China to the UK may be slightly higher than on other routes. Why are container shipping rates from China to the UK so volatile? Because shipping containers from China to the UK are commodities. Shipping rates are not fixed. It is completely governed by market forces. There are several factors that influence the cost of shipping a cheap container from China to the UK. Ports near cities and hubs will reduce container rates from China to the UK. However, the inland and remote locations may increase the cost of shipping a cheap container from China to the UK. Is the cost of shipping cheap container from China to the UK always the same? The cost of shipping a cheap container from China to the UK does not remain constant. The cost of a cheap container from China to the UK is entirely dependent on market conditions. Sometimes the cost is higher, and sometimes it is lower. Furthermore, the cost of shipping a cheap container from China to the UK is determined by a variety of factors. If you choose a long port destination, the cost of shipping a cheap container from China to the UK may vary. There may also be a new or used container that people use. There are also some ranked ones who can change the cost of a 20-feet container from China to the UK. The cost of container from China to the UK can be quite high when purchasing an IICL container. The cost of a 20-feet container from China to the UK can change when purchasing an A-graded container. A new container shipping cost from China to the UK may be higher than a used one. As a result, the cost of a 20-feet container from China to the UK cannot and will not be the same. What documents are required to ship your products via cheap container from China to the UK? When shipping a cheap container from China to the UK, several documents are required. Here are some of the most important documents for your shipment. Bill of lading. You can get either a non-negotiable or a negotiable shipper's order bill of lading. Invoice for commercial services. A commercial invoice is a bill of sale that lists the goods passed from the seller to the buyer. This is required to calculate the costs of your goods when shipping a cheap container from China to the UK. This is an extremely important document that you should keep. Origin certificate. If you live in the UK, you understand the significance of the certificate of origin. These documents are not required by every country's customs, but some do. It is a signed document indicating the origin of the imported items. We would consider it an honor to work with you to expand your company. Please fill out our contact form to inquire about our rates and services, and a member of our staff will contact you right away. Our staff will contact you as soon as possible.